up to the ding ding dong babe.
So for the last 2 weeks, I was in Colombia. The first 5 days, I was in Bogota. The next 5, I was in Salento. And the next 5, or the last 5, I was in Cartagena. Colombia was the first stop on my list of countries for my solo world travels. And honestly, I had no expectations. I chose the country because I knew nothing about it. I think now leaving the country, it holds a special place in my heart. And I guess this is why.
Con un beso en la mejilla, un beso que me dio alegría, tomé su mano y la llevé a la pista y la seduje con mis pasos mágicos.
Not only was the country very beautiful, the cities, the beaches, the farms, the countryside, everything, but also the people I met when I was traveling. Before going to the country, I knew nobody. I had no friends, and honestly, I was a little anxious about going out and meeting new people. I feel like it's hard for someone like me who's pretty introverted and is pretty awkward around people, but somehow I was able to meet people that I never expected of meeting in my entire life. And honestly, they were the most random interactions, just walking on the side of the streets, talking to people who work at places that I visit, and honestly just randomly running into people at dinner. But all in all, it was a very transformative experience in that sense. I went out of my comfort zone to talk to people and hang out with people I had only met for that day. And during my travels, I was fortunate enough that people would talk to me. Even if there was a language barrier, we had a way to talk and understand one another. Even if it was just pantomiming or understanding each other's broken Spanish/English. But either way, we were able to learn more about each other and more about the countries and cultures that we each came from. And during the interviews that I did of the 3 different people, or 4 different people, the people who I met on my travels taught me various things. When I was in Bogota, Juan taught me to be open when I travel, not to have any prejudgment or to assume things before I even try them.
Leave behind those fears and these kind of cliches or stereotypes.
And I think when he told me that, the rest of my time in Colombia, I applied it and met some amazing people. And that led me to meet Roman in Salento. I was just walking around and he invited me to go to his sculpture park. Before going on to the trip, I didn't think that I would be doing something like that. I had my guard up all the time, but he did teach me.
Puedes fracasar 1.000.000 de veces, 10.000 millones de veces, y solamente un solo triunfo cambia toda tu vida.
And I think that's what's kind of fueling me with all my daily videos so far, is that message. I think that's pretty applicable to everything people do in life. And even Andrea, when I met her in Salento as well, she was working at a hostel. She taught me no dar papaya, which is a phrase in Colombia where
no den papaya. En inglés es don't give papaya. No se muestren mucho, tengan cuidado con sus cosas cada vez que viajen.
So on one end you have Juan telling me to be open, but also Andrea, who taught me to be cautious on another. So I feel like balancing the two when I'm going to travel for the next 8 or 9 months is going to be hard or difficult to find that balance. She also did say to live life to the maximum, or
Entonces disfrutar la vida al máximo.
we were talking, a lot of people get caught up too much in what they're doing and forget their dreams, what they had planned out to do when they were younger. I hope when I get older, that'll be something I remember, and I'll look back on these videos and it'll be a reminder to myself to never forget what I plan to do or dream about. And I think it even comes all the way to full circle talking to Stella in Cartagena. She's not Colombian, but she does come to Colombia a lot. She is an American, but a Puerto Rican background, growing up in the Virgin Islands. And I think one thing I took from her is,
just remember that at the end of the day, it's okay if you don't have all the answers. It's okay if you don't know everything.
and I feel like on this trip, there are going to be times where I don't know a lot. And that's going to make me anxious and very fearful of any situation that might come up where I don't even know the solution to. So I'll have to remind myself of what Stella said, that it's okay to not know everything and just to ask questions. I guess what I'm doing with all these interviews and just traveling to all these places, because I don't know a lot and I'm trying to learn a lot. And hopefully, as I continue my travels for the next 8 months, I'll be able to learn more about the new countries that I'll be traveling to and the people there. It'll be hard because some countries I won't be able to have the opportunity to talk to people directly. I'll have to force myself out of my comfort zone in order to talk to them. But I feel like that's part of the process of learning and understanding one another. So for the next 9 months, I'll be traveling the world, and it'll be interesting to see what I learn at the end of this trip. But first, I want to say thank you to Colombia. Thank you for allowing me to come to the country and for the people to be so welcoming. Not only were the people in the videos very nice, but there were also people I'd met who weren't in the videos, who, like for example, my cab driver, Dario, if he's ever watching, but also other cab drivers and people at restaurants. So welcoming and so friendly. But thank you so much, everyone. I hope to come back to Colombia sometime. And thank you, Colombia.